Unfortunately, I was not able to join you today. I'm involved in the IHR Emergency Committee for Ebola, but I had hoped to be in the room with you because the issues you will be dealing with over the next hours may be tabletop exercises today, but they address real and critical threats which we at WHO take very seriously. Without a question, epidemic, but they address real and critical threats which we at WHO event 201, the high-level simulation exercise for pandemic preparedness and response, hosted by John Hopkins Centre for Health Security, the World Economic Forum, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Unfortunately, I was not able to join you today. I'm involved in the IHR Emergency Committee for Ebola, but I had hoped to be in the room with you because the issues you will be dealing with over the next hours may be tabletop exercises today, but they address real and critical threats which we at WHO take very seriously.
They may be just exercises today, but they address real and critical situations that may take place. So he's reading from a teleprompter. He's just saying what he's prompted to say. He's prompted to read. You can tell his eyes going back and forth. He's reading a teleprompter, so it's scripted. Some people can memorize their script where they don't need a teleprompter, but other people need a teleprompter right in front of them to let them know their lines on what to say, to the populace.
Hosted by John Hopkins Centre for Health Security, the World Economic Forum, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Unfortunately, I was not able to join you today. I'm involved in the IHR Emergency Committee for Ebola, but I had hoped to be in the room with you because the issues you will be dealing with over the next hours
He's a germaphobe. You don't want to be with them
today, but they address real and critical threats which we at WHO take very seriously. Without a question, epidemic.
Finish the line. Which are about to happen a month from now. Get ready. It's about to happen, y'all. Finish it.
Risk has become a global strategic concern. I don't think we've ever been in a situation where we have had to respond to so many health emergencies at once. This is a new normal. I don't expect the frequency of these epidemics to reduce, and in fact, vulnerabilities all over the world, developed and developing countries, have increased, not decreased, driven by many, many factors, mainly through human behaviour, economic development, population density, and many others. The scenario you will be presented with this morning could easily become a shared reality one day. I fully expect that we will be confronted by a
one day, 1 month from now,
highly lethal pandemic of a respiratory pathogen.
Say that again,
the scenario you will be presented with this morning could easily become a shared reality one day. I fully expect that we will be confronted by a fast-moving, highly lethal pandemic of a respiratory pathogen.
I fully expect that we will be confronted by a highly lethal pathogen. Not in 1 day, in 1 month, October, and then the next month, November, the guy gets coronavirus in China. See? He fully expects because he fully already knows. Okay? And this exercise is just like a warning, but it's at the same time like saying, how he's saying he fully expects that it's going to happen because it's planned to happen. It's planned that way. And he knows it already. He knows the virus is going out. He knows that they already put it out there and they're just waiting for it to make connection with the first person, or by which way they put it out, either through a bat or through another human being, and send the other human being out there to go around people, their lab rat to go around people in China. Hey, you, give me a hug. Ha, ha, cough on them or whatever. He does a shared drink with the person to spread it. They already know that they created it in the lab and then they put it out there through a human being. But they said it was a bat, but they didn't say anything. But they put it out there. A bat would take too long. If they put it in a bat and they send it out there, it would take too long. The bat might decide, I'm going in the cave. I'm going to be here the rest of my life. Or to narrow it down, what's to say that bat is going to get killed, shot, eaten by some Chinese person? It's almost unpredictable. which makes it even more erroneous. So it's better to be understood that when they created the virus, they created Ebola, they created all the other ones, so they can build up a momentum, so they can build up a reason to come to this final. I don't know if it's the very final virus test, big, fearful, uncurable virus test that they're doing, but clearly the coronavirus that didn't kill the people that it didn't kill, the immune system eventually wiped it out, or they got injected with something that we don't know about, that they didn't tell us about, that actually cured them of it. Got them. Why don't they have it now? Well, if you don't have no natural cure, that must mean the immune system pushed it out of their system. As to why there are more thousands of people that had the virus and lived from it. You see, it's a test. It's an experiment, and it's being used moreover as a fear tactic, so they can open their doors and say, because look at how crazy everything's going. They got everybody running scared and tearing up the grocery stores. So now that's reason to make us believe that you see how crazy everybody is in grocery stores, yeah? Because they're afraid because of what you did to them on the news, with your media. But how does that say that your numbers, why would that make us trust your numbers saying that this many people died, and that's why we got to shut it down over here and shut this down, because we don't want this to spread. Look how much it's spreading. Well, there's no cure. Clearly, the thousands of people that had corona that don't have it no more are proof that there is a cure, whether it be their immune system or whether it be some type of vaccination that they got that nobody spoke about, or that they received while they was in the hospital and that they didn't know they was getting, so they couldn't go tell nobody. They gave me a vaccine and I'm better, See, he's clearly warning about something that already exists. That's what he's warning about. Something that already exists in the form of hidden behind, the smoke screen of, is just an exercise, that we're talking about these things, just in case something's about to happen. And like he said, I do believe,
one day. I fully expect that we will be confronted by a fast-moving, highly lethal pandemic of a respiratory pathogen.
Fully expect that we will be confronted. 1 month later, a man has coronavirus. He had bat for dinner.
Question is, are we prepared to globally respond to the next major pandemic event? Are we ready to cooperate and perform across countries and across sectors to face such a threat? Have we established the surveillance and risk assessment systems, the communication tools, the supply chains, and the business continuity plans that will be needed not only to protect...
Stop. Everything he just said about what will be needed are all tools of spy tech tools of the government. Whether it be scanning you through a form of Ebola test or coronavirus test, whether it be implanting a chip within you and I for the corona cure, or so we can tell which one of us has the cure, whether it be the other things they suggested about using Korea's idea of turning everybody's cell phone into a tracking device, have them download an app that can now use your locator in your phone to track whether you or somebody else has the virus. But it also tracks everything about you, where now, where you can turn your locator off now, and get to a point where you got to keep, we'll give you the free will to keep your locator on in order for that app to be able to do the tracking that it needs. So you will know also, and the government will know, will be able to tap into that app into your phone to let them know, through your phone service provider, let them know if you have corona or somebody else has corona. See? And they already implemented that in Korea, and they're praised for not just doing that, but for doing other things that were not spy tech, that for the reason of corona being so low. That's how they set it up. They did it in Korea, and so it was working. So Korea is an example for us that it works. So we should do it all over the place. Use their more friendlier way of, you know, weeding out and finding out, you know, where the virus is or whatever, whatever. But also use their technological way, which gets into government spying through phones, you know, and that the nature of and the nature of that, you know. So
protect health in one day. I fully expect that we will be confronted by a fast-moving, highly lethal pandemic of a respiratory pathogen. The question is, are we prepared to globally respond to the next major pandemic event? Are we ready to cooperate and perform across countries and across sectors to face such a threat? Have we established the surveillance and risk assessment system?
establish the surveillance and risk systems. I was reading about it online today. They are considering that that type of technology to surveil, if you will, surveil the coronavirus. Are they surveilling the coronavirus? Or are they surveilling you and I? See?
Systems, the communication tools, the supply chains,
Phones,
and the business
communication
continuity
tools.
plans that will be needed, not only to protect health in a major epidemic or pandemic, but to protect economic development, to protect political and social systems. Do we collectively drive innovation enough to face the evolving global threats which we are anticipating?
Global threats which we are anticipating. Keep in mind, again, if you're just coming in, I have to say this again. Keep in mind, again, which they are anticipating. This was released a month prior to the first person getting infected by a bat and getting coronavirus. Okay? Which means, from the words that he's talking about something that he and his staff already knows that they have put into the atmosphere, or they have injected into some human being, that they're going to have that human being start to spread that. And if they're not careful, and they're not, this is where the power and the healing virtue of God comes in to play a little bit down the road. They put a virus out there that they think that they might be able to contain. So it gets to a certain number of deaths and stuff like that, then they can wipe it out. You know? So they can go to their next stage in controlling us and getting us toward the mark of the beast. And so, but what they don't understand is that, how are you going to control, even if you put it out there, how can you control it and corner it and track it? Well, now I need to corner it and track it. So all of the devices that he's talking about in a hypothetical way, they already have the tracking devices. They already have these things. They already implemented it in Korea. That's why their numbers are so low at death. You know, and they of course, again, that was done purposefully, so Korea can be used as a catalyst and as a reason to prove to the world it works. So we're going to use that method. Spy type thing. We're going to turn your, like he said, communications devices, our cell phones, into spy type equipment, you know, in order to track the virus, track the pandemic. Track the pandemic. No. They believe that we, the people, the sheeple, are the pandemic. They believe that we are a walking virus, you know, and the virus that they created in their lab was sent out to kill many people, but also the remaining people alive, the majority of the population that survives, is meant to bring us into a form of world slavery, you know, that we will have to rely on the government and rely on the Antichrist system, you know, to be our help and our guide and our need in our times of need, you know. It's an Antichrist system.
The nature of pandemics is that many countries will be affected at the same time. This is particularly true with the respiratory pathogen, as they are often transmitted by asymptomatic persons.
Holy prophetic word. It affects many countries at the same time. It's prophetic, right? Because it happened, this was a month before it started happening, right? It's prophetic? Nah. It's pre-planned. They already know what it would do. They wanted to do what it's doing right now.
They spread fast. In 2009, the pandemic virus reached all continents in less than 9 weeks. WHO's priorities are to establish a minimum capacity.
He's talking about a hypothetical pandemic that spread in 2009. It spread to all continents in 9 weeks.
Capacity to detect and respond in each country around the world, to develop global strategies for the containment and control of individual disease threats, and develop global mechanisms to ensure cross-sectoral and multinational, multilateral coordination. Innovation and partnership across all sectors are needed, including joint strategies between global health leaders and the drivers of travel, communication, data technology industries. WHO is working at all levels through a variety of partnerships to strengthen national and regional preparedness, such as GORN, the Global Outbreak Alert and Response Network. Through the PIP framework.
You get two part of this while he's talking, and it's almost like you can't figure out what they're saying is the hypothetical exercise part of this, and what is the real part of it. You know, it's called ambiguity. It's the art of the Jesuit. It's the art of the liars and deceivers. They're very ambiguous. You know, it's meant to. Is it real or isn't it real? But at start, we told you that it's just an exercise. That it's just it's fictional. It's just a way of preparing for something real that could come. Again, which happens a month later.
Framework adopted by WHO member states in 2011. WHO has secured 400 million vaccine doses for influenza, 10 million antiviral treatments, and 250,000 diagnostic kits for the next pandemic. We have completed external evaluations of surveillance and response systems in over 100 countries and carried out more than 50 simulation exercises at country level, looking for vulnerabilities and weaknesses in national systems. This voluntary, collaborative, multi-sectoral process helps countries to assess their capacities and identifies the most critical gaps within their health systems in order to prioritise opportunities for enhanced preparedness and response. The Pandemic Supply Chain Network, part of the Epidemic Readiness Accelerator, which is a project of the World Economic Forum in partnership with many, including WHO. It's a public-private collaboration to develop a globally connected supply chain that can support health emergency operations during a pandemic. Stakeholders consist of product manufacturers to logistics providers, distributors and UN partners, including ourselves. Michael Griffin is WHO's focal point for the Pandemic Supply Chain Network, and he is there with you this week. Constant innovation and the use of cutting-edge technology is key to pandemic preparedness. In order to pool data...
Let me stop just right here, because I have to tell you something. If you want to watch this whole thing in full, you can, because I'm going to be pausing and making comments between. But if you want to watch this in full, know that it is pre-coronavirus. Okay, the coronavirus situation that we have now, not the first two, but it's pre this coronavirus. Okay, so and it was released a month before. So if you want to watch this whole thing, segment 1, segment 2, and so forth, and the introduction video right here, then it's here, Center for Health Security.org/event 201. Okay, and so just in case you want to go straight to that site and watch it. But here, I'm going to be giving rebuttals on some things that he's talking about.
Assess their capacities and identifies the most critical gaps within their health systems in order to prioritise opportunities for... We have completed external evaluations of surveillance and response systems in over 100 countries. And
they tested surveillance, tested surveillance and response systems, like you mentioned, like using your own communicating devices and stuff like that. They have tested it.
Carried out more than 50 simulation exercises at
Carried out more than 50 simulation exercises.
Country level, looking for vulnerabilities and weaknesses in national systems. This voluntary, collaborative, multi-sectoral process helps countries to assess their capacities and identifies the most critical gaps within their health systems in order to prioritise opportunities for enhanced preparedness and response. The Pandemic Supply Chain Network, part of the Epidemic Readiness Accelerator, which is a project of the World Economic Forum in partnership with many, including WHO. It's a public-private collaboration to develop a globally connected supply chain that can support health emergency operations during a pandemic. Stakeholders consist of product manufacturers to logistics providers, distributors and UN partners, including ourselves. Michael Griffin is WHO's focal point for the Pandemic Supply Chain Network, and he's there with you this week. Constant innovation and the use of cutting-edge technology is key to pandemic preparedness. In order to pool data and analytics at a global scale for disease prevention, the EpiBrain initiative ourselves. Michael Griffin is WHO's focal point for the Pandemic Supply Chain Network, and he's there with you this week. Constant innovation and the use of cutting-edge technology is key to pandemic preparedness. In order to pool data and analytics at a global scale for disease prevention, the EpiBrain initiative, a global data ecosystem, aims to build a collaboration of big data to understand and predict epidemics. It supports data science, innovation for outbreak preparedness and response. Despite this progress, there is still much to be done. Cross-sectoral simulation exercises, such as the one you will be experiencing today, contribute to a better understanding of the critical gaps, the cooperation required from global businesses, response decisions required from government and public health leaders to minimise large-scale economic and societal consequences of a severe pandemic. I wish you the best of luck. We are looking forward to working with each of you to strengthen pandemic preparedness in the future. Thank you.
And our thanks to Dr. Ryan. And with that, here in New York and online, welcome to Event 201.
It began in healthy-looking pigs, months...
This video is a hypothetical video that they're saying they hypothetically made up as an exercise to show you how a pandemic such as coronavirus could start. Again, this was done and released a month before the coronavirus, the big threatening coronavirus, world-threatening coronavirus that they're predicting started. This video was a month beforehand.
Perhaps years ago, a new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. The sickest required intensive care. Many died. At first, the spread was limited to those with close contacts, healthcare personnel, co-workers, and families. But now, it's spreading rapidly throughout local communities. International travel has turned local epidemics into a pandemic spanning the globe. Just 3 months ago, CAP started in South America, but has now reached...
Hold on for a minute. You selling ice cream and it's 56 degrees? Are you kidding me? The ice cream man is outside selling ice cream in 56 degrees weather.
International travel has turned local epidemics into a pandemic spanning the globe. Just 3 months ago, CAP started in South America, but has now reached several countries with more than 30,000 cases and nearly 2,000 deaths.
These numbers are hypothetical, of course, because this is supposed to be a hypothetical exercise that they're doing. The videos that they said in the news, special news reports in this video, and these are all hypothetical. They're saying that this right here could very well happen, so we got to get prepared. and then again, coincidentally, a month later, it started.
Good morning, and thank you all for being part of this Pandemic Emergency Board. We're at the start of what's looking like it will be a severe pandemic.
So this guy is from Johns Hopkins University. The other guy, this guy here, Christopher Elias, Christ Elias is from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and I can't see her tag.
Pandemic. And there are problems emerging that
Several countries with more than 30,000 cases and nearly 2,000 deaths.
Good morning, and thank you all for being part
Gorgeous.
of the Pandemic Emergency Board. We're at the start of what's looking like it will be a severe pandemic.
Okay, she's from Borges. If I'm getting the rest of that title on her tag, she's from Borges. Borges, I just went to an article by them today. They released an article that says Bill Gates. Was it Bill Gates? Somebody, I think Bill Gates or one of these so-called people, had called for what was it again? Kind of like a cryptic martial law, where they were saying that something about a curfew, okay, calling for a curfew, okay. I think it was an article about Bill Gates talking about a curfew, the importance of a curfew or something to that effect. But the article was about Bill Gates from her company.
There are problems emerging that can only be solved by global business and governments working together. The global community has been working to respond to this pandemic since its recognition.
Keep in mind, all these things that he's reading, they admit that it's supposed to be scripted. It's all them playing a role. Just in case you just joined the video, I have to let you know that they from the beginning, they said this is all a hypothetical exercise, if you will, where they are reading from scripts and they are who they are. In other words, they're playing themselves, their real selves, but they're pre-enacting. They're doing an enactment. They're reading from scripts and pretending like they're preparing for a major pandemic that's about to happen, and then a month later it really happens. Okay, so and they're describing everything that's happened right now a month before the first outbreak.
But as health and economic impacts have become more severe, the World Economic Forum has convened this board because of your combined expertise, your backgrounds, and your global voice. We will need all of you to help us respond to urgent policy crises that are emerging. The purpose of this board is to advise leaders in national governments, global business, and international organizations on the response to the pandemic, particularly focused on international problems that require collaboration between business and government. Your recommendations will be critical and will be promulgated and communicated broadly at the end of this meeting. On the left screen, as we have this meeting, you will find a dashboard of information about the pandemic that will help us in our conversations. As important background for this discussion, we want to start the meeting by viewing this news story that just aired on Global News Network.
Keep in mind again, this is this whole thing. They're saying this happened a month before. It happened a month before the coronavirus. The first person ever got coronavirus. So they were doing, they call it an exercise, a pandemic exercise, hypothetical news reports and hypothetical special reports and hypothetical storylines and with their script while they're sitting around the table. Those are all major global leaders of important government and businesses sitting around the table, and that they are released this a month before, 1 month before coronavirus actually got the first person. So the story about the bat it was a lie. Okay, they knew about it beforehand, and they were doing an exercise to show that they're preparing for the big one. And this is what we're going through right now. It's supposed to be the big one. It's not. They can easily make it the big one. After I said it's not, they can easily turn it into the big one if they want to, because they're the rulers of this world, being controlled by Satan. So whatever Satan decides, it's like a predictory thing where we say it's not the big one. We're just going by knowing Satan's mode of operation. But anytime Satan could